How to develop a staffing plan. Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of the Workforce Workshop. In today's episode, we will try to find the answer to how to develop a staffing plan. So why do we need a powerful staffing plan? Staffing plans don't just help companies recruit, hire, and develop employees. They also guide their budgeting and their finance decisions within the organization. To develop a solid staffing plan, it is essential to determine where gaps exist between resources and needs. You must get ahead of the talent shortage when your business is experiencing significant growth. It is imperative for your organization to have a staffing plan backed by a systematic process in order to achieve its growth objectives. In addition to changes in headcount, a solid plan should identify the new skills and knowledge your business requires while remaining sensitive to the relationship between internal and external needs. Let's first understand what is a staffing plan. In a staffing plan, a company usually headed by a human resource department assesses the organizational personnel needs and identifies the appropriate hiring strategy. An effective staffing plan helps you understand how many and what types of employees your organization needs to reach its goals. Staffing plans answer the following questions. What projects do you need to accomplish? How many people need to be hired? Does this work require specific skills and experiences? Is there a need to fill any skill gap and there are areas of redundancy? There is no limit of how staffing plan can be applied. They can affect teams, departments, and individuals. For instance, if your company's business goals include expanding its sales force in the coming years, a staffing plan can help prepare the sales department for that growth by ensuring the skills of the right employees are hired at the right times. Furthermore, a staffing plan facilitates the following: maximize productivity and reduce labor costs, identify and eliminate skill gaps, improve employee engagement, reduce employee turnover and increase employee retention. Customers' experience should be improved. Improve business growth. Establishing a clearly identified staffing plan prevents potential issues that could deter growth or results in unsatisfied customers. This could lead lost business opportunities as well. A good staffing plan can help your company recruit, hire, and develop employees efficiently, but it can also help your organization's budgeting and financial decisions. Enjoy the unfair advantage. With staffing plan, often opportunities arise unexpectedly. To take advantage of opportunities, it's essential to prepare in advance. Planning ahead helps you to act quickly when something unexpected happens. The other reason to enable a company to make good staffing decisions is to avoid hiring on emotional grounds instead of based on needs of the company. The temptation of creating a position within a small organization without considering the need of the role or the consequences of making that mistake is massive. These strategies are understandable, but they don't always serve the organization or individual well. And now, who is going to draft the staffing plan? The greater level of participation in this process, the better the outcome. At the very least, the input should be gathered from current staff members, board members, and key stakeholders. In the short term, a small team should draft a plan based on these inputs. So what is the best way to calculate staffing needs? 3 steps are required to develop a staffing plan: identifying current staffing levels, projecting staffing needs for the future, distinguishing the differences between the two. After you have assessed your staffing needs, you can outline recommendations for how to meet them, including recruiting and hiring new talent. Promoting within your organization, focusing on employee training and development or adding contractors. In developing your organizational human resource plan, these forecasts and recommendations will be helpful. Following are the steps you should use to calculate staffing needs and create a staffing plan. Number 1, identify the business objectives prior to making changes in staffing or planning. You must have a clear understanding of the business overreaching goals. A strategic business plan usually outlines these goals. This plan can be used to clarify the company's objective and align the staffing plan accordingly. Business outcomes will be affected by what you do with your staff, for better or for worse. So make sure those two plans align. If your business plans to open a new location, you may need to reassign current employees or hire new ones to fill those roles. Make sure to consider the business plan when making these decisions. Assess your current staffing needs. Understanding your current staffing environment is the first step toward developing a staffing plan. This step could be relatively straightforward if your HR database is robust. The personal information must first be consolidated into a single source of truth located in various sources. Ensure you have accurate and complete data on your human resources by working with your business leaders and managers. The moment you have all your staffing data in one place, you can assess the current staffing environment and use those insights to drive action. Take a specific note: number of people working at the company, distribution of staff, number of people and where they work, competencies and skills within the workforce, individuals who are talented and have the potential to lead employees, who have low performance or flight risk, age, and tenure staff to predict retirement numbers. Having access to this data will help you determine staffing needs and opportunities in the future. Now, what is the purpose of a staffing plan? It's not just about recruiting suitable candidates that make your staffing plan successful. Moreover, it influences employees' onboarding, training, succession planning, satisfaction, and the success of the business. Check out these main advantages. First, streamline the recruitment process when you realize you don't have the skills necessary to meet your business goals and scrambling to find employees. Your recruitment process will suffer. You can spend time on the following if you have long-term staffing plan: writing a comprehensive job advertisement, recruitment of candidates, interviewing and screening with care, setting up interviews in advance, creating an onboarding process that is comprehensive. In this way, you will ensure the right candidate is hired and you won't mess candidates around. Second, develop a better succession plan. There will always be people who leave your company. Life happens, even if you are doing everything right and you have the right workforce. Another person needs to relocate for a family reason. Another decides to go traveling, and some other people decide to quit. Prepare yourself ahead of time. Your staffing management plan can help you identify who can replace your managers and when they may need to be replaced. You will probably lose the role when your company's course change, or you will find that the rest of your team can choose the responsibilities. Third, retaining employees. Recruiting and onboarding new employees take time. If you don't plan, you might be scrambling to hire someone you need yesterday. It will be even more challenging if you are trying to hire people in areas with skills shortages. An example: an employee strategy identifies the skills necessary to support your business direction. Afterward, you will be able to see where you lack the essential skills and can start drafting a plan immediately. Alternatively, you may decide to train and upskill the existing workforce. The morale and the retention of existing employees can be improved by demonstrating your dedication to training existing employees. So, what is the process of creating a staffing plan? The following steps will help you determine your staffing needs and how they are currently met. Any task category critical to the operations of the organization should be included in the function. It is recommended to include an approximate range of hours required to complete the tasks. For some tasks, you may want to include a range. Keep record of how many hours were spent over what period of time and if task is specific to a specific time of a year. The primary person is typically the person who is responsible for these tasks. The importance of the task specified, whether it would be critical for the task to be accomplished. These are the things the organization is there to accomplish. Organizing support includes tasks that must be done in order for the organization to function, the ability to function, such as accounting, grants writing, fundraising, etc. And it's important to say that there are some functions that are not categorized in any functional category. You can leave blank any tasks that do not fit into these categories for now, then revisit them in the future drafts. The estimated cost represents the actual cost of having that activity performed for an organization: salary, benefits, and office equipment. Telephone, internet access, expenses are also included. How to develop a staffing plan. To carry out staffing needs analysis, you need access to accurate, current, and data people analytics tools so that you can break down the staffing plan development into manageable steps. Get in touch with your HR software provider if you need sample staffing plans or staffing plan templates to get you started. First, assess the goals. Establishing staffing goals is the first step in developing a staffing plan. Human resource professionals can identify the amount and type of support needed by employees by identifying the targets they will be working toward. HR professionals are able to accomplish many things by establishing clear expectations. It is also essential for departments to align with the organization's objectives. Thus, this is an ideal chance to communicate with other leaders to understand what do they expect from the department, including support for major projects, new initiatives, and other changes that require staff adjustments. Additionally, HR should identify any significant objectives for the function during this step. To develop a specific expertise or improve customer service, they may be a need for organizations or realignment. When evaluating goals, ask yourself, for the upcoming year, what are the organization's leading strategic and tactical goals? What role does HR play in supporting those goals? How can I align my goals with those of the company so I'm aligned with theirs? What support is my department expected to provide to other departments and functions this year? What are the internal goals of this function for the coming year? Second, assess your current management of people. Having developed a plan, you should take stocks of your current people management situation. When it comes to determining how many people you need to perform specific tasks, you must know how long it takes. Consider the following questions. What are our in-house skills? What is the performance of my current employees? Who are my top performing employees? Based on industry average, what is the compensation rate at our company? How does our turnover rate compare with our competitors? Analyze your current people landscape by following these tips. When it comes to an understanding of how well your workforce is performing, accurate data is paramount. Organize your data. You must have all your data in one place so you can get accurate insights into these questions. Employee surveys can provide you with access to the necessary data. Anonymous employee surveys will help you understand what your employees think about their performance, identify influential people. HR professionals use this step to identify the factors that may impact staffing plans. These people can be internal or external to the organization. Organizations cannot control indirect effects, which may indirectly affect the organization's plan. Positive or negative consequences may result from indirect effects. By analyzing the influences on the staffing plan, HR professionals can identify and understand forces that will affect talent supply. A tight labor market, changing regulations, and the evolution of function are examples of these influences. As a first step toward completing this step, HR professionals should brainstorm everything that might affect their workforce. They can then group employees according to their influence once the list has been generated. Under external workforce availability, the two influencers, low employment and competitors ABC company will hire 50,000 local workers next year could be combined. You can find labor market data from the following data source: U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics, state unemployment data, and municipal labor statistics. Influencers can be identified by asking these questions. How is the talent pool in our market? How is skill development affected by trends? Managing social media or acquiring new skills as part of process evolution would have social impacts. The next question we should ask: are we going to see a change in the labor supply or demand due to technology change? The change could due to new technology required additional staffing and training time, or technology that improves efficiency and eliminates jobs. Is there any impact on our workforce if regulations change? Can we expect competition to affect the supply of labor? It is possible that competitors are increasing their workforce or laying off employees, therefore growing the labor supply. Is our staffing plan affected by economic or financial factors? An increase in venture capital funding or tightening of financing available to the organization, or changes in the local economy may be among those that must be considered. How should facilities and infrastructure be accounted for? They include office size, location, and common implications. Is our industry at risk of game changers? Uber is one of the examples of a disruptor company. Technological advances such as driverless cars may also have significant impact on the transportation industry. Third, forecast optimal staffing levels. You need to forecast optimal staffing levels based on how many employees with specific skills you will need and how much budget you will have for managing this workforce. Using contractors or freelancers may be the solution if your business does not have enough funding to hire full-time employees. How to forecast optimal staffing levels. Make sure you gather as much information from both the inside and the outside of your company. Even with a crystal ball, it is impossible to predict the future, but you can use data to make the best guess. Analyze the trends. To help you determine future staffing levels, look at the historical data in your system. Analyze how business growth has affected staffing levels in the past and use the information to forecast future levels. Analyze industry benchmark. What is the number of employees at your competitors? What is the turnover rate? Which departments are they expanding? And what skills are they seeking? In terms of skills, what will be in demand in the future? According to the industry analysis, look at other successful businesses and see what they have done. Fourth, analyze the gaps. In order to develop an adequate staffing plan, you must analyze the areas where you lack the necessary skills. This analysis considers the skills available within your company and the skills available on the market, which will help you decide whether you hire or upskill to fill the gaps. Here are some tips for conducting a gap analysis. This step aims not only to identify the gaps, but also to determine why they exist and how to eliminate them. Redundancies are inevitable. Upon analyzing your data, you may find you possess a surplus of a specific skill. In some cases, retaining workers with these skills may be possible, but if that's not possible, you might have to let them go. If you want to terminate their employment contract, you must give them notice and cause or have an at-will employment agreement. Analyze the data from previous shifts. Black Fridays is sometimes a busy period when skill gaps are more prevalent. This information in your HR system should provide insight into the peaks regarding worker scheduling and shift management. During these busy times, you may want to consider hiring contract employees to fill the skills gap. Fifth, prepare a plan in the end. All this information has to be compiled into an actual action plan for talent development. Throughout the previous 4 steps, you should evaluate and analyze the information and summarize the steps taken in making a decision. Each group, department, and division should be included in your plan. The sub-plan can be accumulated by division at the end of these exercises in larger organizations. It takes leadership and hiring managers and human resource department to design an adequate staffing plan. Similarly to and even overlapping with budgeting, it involves an organization-wide effort. Communication across departments and functions is key to creating a plan that takes everyone's needs into account and works for everyone. Let us conclude this episode by saying, a plan needs to be periodically reviewed to see if it still aligns with the company's overall strategy, to repeat step 1 to 4 if necessary, and to adjust as needed. Repeat and repeat the same process. Your plan should be reviewed annually, and when there are any significant changes within your organization. That's all for today's episode. In the next one, we shall talk about talent acquisition versus recruitment. Links to everything will be in the description below. If you like our content, don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification button. It will notify you about new content that we will share with you every week. This will help us to produce great content for our professional audience. Let us know if there's something you would like us to talk about in a future episode. Please click the link in the show notes and you can address your questions directly to me. That's all for today. Thank you, and we'll see you next week.